Despite the fact that the Biren Singh has been removed as the CM and present rule has been imposed, it created a situation whereby some sort of a conversation could take place, but going by the visuals that have come in from Manipur, hills don't seem to cooperate with IMPHAL. This matter also got reflected in Parliament. Before I play the bite of Bimol Akoijam on this entire matter, I would like to ask two questions. Why are hill leaders not helping to resolve the issue? One. And why should an average Manipuri suffer? And on this I am joined by Rajat Sethi, former political advisor to Biren Singh, PK Mishra, former ADG, BSF, and Hijang Misao, social activist. Rajat is someone who has worked the system. Rajat, how disappointed are you that this free movement is not heading anywhere?
Well, thank you for having me on the show, Kartikeji. It is certainly we've reached to a situation where constantly trying to expect that the hill leaders and the civil society leaders are going to come in terms with how the central government is planning to bring in some roadmap of peace and prosperity for the state. It doesn't seem like it is cutting ice with these with the hill leaders especially, and with the civil society members. I think they are still stuck on their demand that a separate administration and possibly a union territory is the only possible way, and there cannot be a coexistence with the valley. Now, one thing is clear and evident that the Home Minister, Honorable Amit Shah, has been categorical about it, that under no circumstance would there be a union territory carved on communal lines. Now, this is something which they will not understand today. Perhaps they will have to understand tomorrow. There is absolutely no sort of doubt that I see in centre's mind vis-a-vis this core agenda of having a union territory or a separate administration. That's not going to happen. The centre is clearly of the view that this is going to have a ripple effect across the northeastern region, and we will see a lot of communities then demanding similar separate administration, and that is something which is absolutely going to be untenable. I think therefore it is up to the civil society leaders to also lay out what are their core demands. I mean, one of their demands was the removal of the chief minister. That has been met. They need to further say anything short of asking for a separate administration. They should put out those discussions before the honorable governor and take those conversations forward. I think pelting stones, destroying taxpayers' property, all of these things just shows that they are not ready to move on. And that is what is very saddening.
Let me just bring in Hijang Misao, social activist. Why is this deadlock? I think I think Home Minister showed great earnestness. All he said was there should be free movement of people. Hijang, to you. This question is to you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Kartike, for this show once again. I would say that the Kuki, they don't want any temporary solution, which by saying that, I mean, we don't want any temporary peace. We want something lasting peace, for which they are saying the free movement, which the government is trying to impose peace by force. We are telling the world that we don't want any imposition of peace by force, but any kind of peace where the free movement will have to take place once that peace is ensured, has to be based on mutual agreement and mutual understanding, and without which any form of forceful imposition of peace will not work. That's what clearly is the stance of the Kuki community. And at the same time, I have been telling in your show that violence in any form cannot be condoned. And it's also very unfortunate how the violence unfold in just a couple of days back. But what the world also needs to know is like the agitation and the protests which started peacefully by the women folks. I think you have already seen in the social media where the women folk are also carrying Indian national flag and singing national anthems in respect of the security forces who are there as part of peacekeeping. Unfortunately, those mothers who were on peaceful protests were met with brute force, and many of our mothers were badly injured. And I think, any human being, when your mother is brutally assaulted, I think no man on earth will be silencing their mothers being badly assaulted. For which I would say some of the youngsters saying that they are venting their anger in that form. But what I'm trying to say is by doing that, the central government, I would say, purposefully failed to understand the grave situation and trying to impose peace by force, which is something we are saying that will not last. What we are looking at is a peace that will last, that will also bring the community together, that will also bring that level of mutual understanding. And these incidents, once again, tell us that the flexing of muscle doesn't work here. The peace which we want is something which will be based on dialogue, where the core issue, why the incidents, why all these conflicts are taking place.
Let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it, Mr. Acha, I'll come back to you, because the core, there are two things. I understand that when you talk about core issue, it's also about justice. When you talk about core issue, it's also about documentation. But I think that this, there is also another aspect to it, which is moving forward. Today, this time, we tried to make a graphic how Kukis and Meiteis can come together. I was going through some data. Shared cultural festival of Kukis and Meiteis, joint business venture. I just didn't want to get into that issue of past. Just to Dr. Mishra, can you just update us what sort of movement is taking place in Manipur? Are people being allowed, or trucks being stopped, or is it altogether blocked?
Karthikeyan, I was just watching the movement from morning till evening, and it's only one convoy which has passed today from Kankopi via T-Colin to IMPHAL. That's a BSF convoy, and the protection party, by the way, when it returned, there was a big accident. The civil vehicle which was provided by Manipur police, it could not, in fact, stuck to the road, and it went down, and the four security personnel have died, and one is very serious. This has happened.
Okay, there's a bit of a line problem with you. Sir, there's a bit of a line problem with you. Let me just adjust that. Rajat, to you. How do you react to the word forceful imposition of peace, which Hijang used? Do you agree? Is it correct?
See, I'm at loss of words as to what do you mean by forceful peace. Do you not want peace? And hasn't there been enough opportunities given? It's been almost 2 years now. Haven't there been multiple platforms, multiple levels of discussions we've had with various stakeholders of the government, both the state government and the central government, and all of these discussions, deliberations have been going on. Several of the Kuki elected leaders have given assurances on these very counts. I think the problem here is you want to perpetuate towards the end goal of having a union territory. That is something which is not going to happen. Now, anything short of that, as I said, any kind of a reasonable demand, why haven't you put it out? I have seen all the notices put out by all the civil societies possible that exist in Chura Chandpur or any other place in Kankokpi, etc. None of them has reiterated, okay, that these are 3-4 issues around which we want a timely discussion or deliberation and a conclusion based on which we are happy to open up the borders. I have not seen a single communique. So let's not fool each other here by saying that, okay, peace is being thrusted. This is free movement is a constitutional right being provided to every single citizen. You cannot bereft any citizen of this fundamental right. If you're doing that, you're challenging the authority of Indian state. And if you do that, you know what you're called. It is simple. It is black and white. You want to go knock the doors of the Supreme Court on this, that I want to continue blocking highways based on communal lines? Try doing that. I openly challenge all the community leaders to go out on the Supreme Court and get a stay on this action, that we want to block. You don't want to allow free passage of Indian citizens in India's bona fide territories. Can you go out and say that? See, this is a classic approach wherein the intent is somewhere else. It is being, camouflaged, smoke screened with other sort of narrative in order to keep the status quo going. Now, this status quo does not sort of, is in the interest of the local people, both Kukis and the Meiteis. It is some of these typical community leaders who want to hog all the space and perpetuate their political interest. That is essentially what this is.
Okay, Misao, I want you to react to it because when I spoke to my sources, I was also told that there have been parts where a lot of Kuki groups have cooperated also. It's not as if we are looking at one unitary group, but it's just that the entire state bears the brunt, because ultimately if there is a free movement, the goods can come in, people from hills can go to the IMPHAL airport, you don't need to go to Aizawl and take a flight. All those things can happen.
Kartikeya, I once again reiterate my word saying that we want lasting peace, not a temporary.
And let me tell you, Hijang, when I call you, I don't.
I tell this
to my viewers, when I call you, you are here as a social activist. I don't call you here as a spokesperson of a Kuki organization. I want to make it very clear to the viewers. You are here as a social activist. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I am here as a social activist, but I also belong to the Kuki community.
You can take that position.
I strongly agree to Razat saying that it's a constitutional right of every citizen to make a free movement. That's no doubt. I'm also Indian citizen. I have the right to move freely in any part of the country. But what is the justice that you have given to those ladies who were paraded naked and those two girls who were assaulted sexually, murdered? What is the justice that you have given to one of our girls who was kidnapped in the ATM booth in IMPHAL and she was raped, and it was already medically proved that she was raped? And what is the justice that you have given to those children, innocent boys and mothers who were burned alive?
Misao, my full sympathy.
I'm saying
my full sympathy for the victims, but the same argument, any other Meitei, if there would have been any other Meitei sitting here, he would have spoken about the Jiribam issue. He would have spoken about the Jiribam issue. Misao, they would have spoken about the Jiribam issue. All those bodies flowing in the IMPHAL river. So where does it end?
To get justice. I'm not saying those
where does that end? Tell me.
Mothers in Jiribam should not get justice. I'm saying equally everyone who were
everyone should get justice.
To get justice.
If you're saying everyone should get justice, then everyone should be allowed to move freely in Manipur.
Why are you believing in some kind of symptomatic treatment? The Manipur issue needs to treat by understanding what is the real issue behind, then only you will bring peace. If brute force can bring peace, why is APSPA not bringing peace in the entire Northeast? I think that...
I slightly disagree with you here, sir. I think the restraint showed by the security in Manipur has been immense. Immense. 2 years I have covered this state. I have covered J&K. I have read about Punjab, but the sort of restraint that the security has shown in Manipur is immense.
Nowhere I'm blaming security forces. What I'm saying is when 6,000, 7,000...
There is no holy cow in democracy. But I'm just appreciating the fact that they showed restraint.
You are trying to bring free movement.
Okay.
You are trying to undermine the security of our people.
I generally agree with you, Misao, on a lot of things. But I just don't agree with you on the word you use. Forceful imposition of peace.
How many arms are returned?
Arms are also
in his. How many arms are returned?
Misao, arms are also in his.
Please tell me, isn't that the internal security threat? When those 7,000
arms are also in the hills. Should we start counting? It's like pot calling the kettle black. अरे arms तो दोनों जगह से चोरी हो गए हैं. Arms तो पूरे मणिपुर में हैं.
Kartikeya, by saying that I'm not against peace, I'm not against the peace initiative of the government. What I'm saying is, if once you started peace, let there be I mean, lasting
sir,
peace. Why is the
I agree
Ukraine
with you,
and US?
but why did
is
you
the
use,
US?
but Mr. why did you use the word
find the
forceful
common place of
imposition
bringing
peace?
both the Russian and the Ukraine for dialogue? I think such platforms should be created where community, the warring community has to be both together.
Okay, let me take a hard view. Okay, let me take a hard view.
Then only there can be.
Don't eat into other people's. Miss, please. If the state has to use hard measure for the peace, what's wrong in that? Isn't mother's love tough on a child? Isn't mother's love tough on a child? If there is a forceful imposition of peace, isn't that good? Okay, Dr. Mishra, I'll come back to you. Dr. Mishra, Dr. Mishra, Dr. Mishra.
Yeah. Kartika, I can tell you, I have listened to Mr. Misal. Many thanks to him that he brought out a lot of issues. I am not going back to what happened at Jeribam or what happened at Vishnupur and Churachandpur. They were paraded naked and all. Don't you think the cookies, they require rims? Don't you think cookies, they require airport? Don't you think cookies, they require the university, Manipur University? Don't you think cookies, they also want to go to Dimapur? Don't you think they want to go to Silchar via Jiribam? What has happened last 2 days? The Nonis and Tamilong Naga people, they were going to Silchar and they were stopped at ahead of Paithal Manvi and they returned. They could not cross Jiribam. And you are blocking both national highways. I am telling you, 27 security personnel were injured and 4 have died today. 4 have died today. And I am telling you, in fact, security personnel have shown, excellent way they have performed. Even the SP Sanapati was pushed also by some ladies,
generally
but
I
he
avoid
didn't
from
retaliate. And thanks to him. But I am telling you, muscle flexing has to be used for keeping both national highways
Dr.
open.
I have a point, I have a point. Generally, in Manipur shows, generally I generally avoid taking lines, but I fundamentally believe,
people are suffering.
Wait a minute. I fundamentally believe that there was 2 demands which are emanating from the hills. One was the president's rule and another one was removal of the chief minister. Both has happened. I think it's time some sort of a reciprocity needs to be demonstrated. I thank all of you for joining my show. And it's on this note I would like to end, that some sort of reciprocity needs to be demonstrated. And the reciprocity should be that Manipuris should be allowed to travel wherever they can, wherever they want to. And I think that should be the first step. And it has to be respected. It has to be respected. That's all on All Point tonight. Thank you for watching. Do tune in to News 9 Live for more updates. Thank you.
Hello everyone. We have the biggest announcement of 2025, especially for cricket fans. We're bringing a golden chance to win a free trip to the UK with your favorite legends. Suresh Raina, Shikhar Dhawan, Shahid Afridi, Chris Gale, Brett Lee. These legends won't just meet you, but you'll stay in the same hotel, travel in the same bus, and witness their practice sessions live and be a part of the post-match team celebrations and gala dinner. 12 lucky winners will get the golden chance to travel with their favorite teams and players, with all expenses covered by us. The entry forms will be available starting 15th February. Keep checking updates on our website wclcricket.com and our Instagram. Get ready to turn your dream experience into reality.
I know that you and I, we are dreamers. Our heads up in the sky, we're flying free. Whatever it takes, we're gonna own this.
For an India that's chasing its dreams, this is the drive of your dreams. Introducing the all-new Skoda Kailak. Own your dream.
Skoda. It's not the fiefdom of politicians. They owe it to the people. Matter is now more about faith of the millions of devotees than just political slugfest. Does that mean that I can't get a job in Chennai, although I may be best suited for that particular job? they have more civic sense, they have more of civility than all these men. My name is Sudha Sadanand. Welcome to the South Indian.